Hello, beautiful people. And here we are, once again, for another logical analysis. This one seems to have been very successful from Amanda Seal's end, at least with the reception, reception we've seen. Uh, you know, I usually try to hop on these as fast as possible, but clearly we can see that some have gotten to it a little bit faster than me. So, I gotta be a little quicker on the grid because I almost didn't even want to do it because this one got a lot of traction very quickly, especially maybe in more of the circles that I was looking at. The black conservatives were fairly upset with the performance here from the so-called black conservatives here. And I think they had like ABL up here. I don't know who. Look, don't ask me who any of these people are. I don't really follow many conservatives in general. So I don't know that it's not really like even the black conservatives are even necessarily like impressive to me, or I'm looking for some kind of representation there. I just kind of gave up on looking for any real representation of the kind of things I believe in politics, right? Um that being said, I am more of a black conservative myself, obviously. Uh it's just I don't think I guess you could say I'm like more in like the libertarian area. So like it's somewhere in the middle, I guess. Or it's also kind of like far right. So it's like there's not really a way to place it the way people talk about it nowadays. Um but that being said, I do I do tend to fall more on the conservative side. Like I don't think I would be like any type of liberal or like socialist or anything, whatever. I would be like from center to far right or something. So I'm definitely not gonna like off the rip. I'm not probably not gonna agree with most of what Amanda Seales says. But I mean, like anybody can command facts. And what I mean by that is like if you know the truth or you have some level of knowledge, some level of understanding of some core facts, like I'm assuming in this one, because I've seen some clips already, a lot of this is gonna be like I guess you could not really hyper racialized, but like race is like something that's gonna be talked about consistently here. And I mean some things are just true. And then some people are in denial. So I mean, it really doesn't matter where you lie on the political spectrum, I guess, when it comes to racial issues. It's either like some realities you're gonna acknowledge or you're not. And then your takes are probably gonna be dictated by that to some degree. So I just realized like got really bright. It's actually getting darker outside. So I don't know what's going on here. Whatever. All right. Let's get this started. Um so as always, logical analysis style. We're just gonna examine the arguments. We're not gonna really worry about the conclusions here. Trying to get a little bit better at like calling out specific fallacies when they're being used. But I do make it a point, especially because these are so long, and I don't want to go super long a lot of time. Like today, I want to wrap up pretty quickly, so we'll probably have to do like 2 or 3 parts of this. Who knows? Um, I don't want to get caught up when I know somebody's not like actually making an argument. So let's dive in. This is. I started hearing an echo for a second.
Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Who do
You're
we vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat. The radical mind state simply is living opposite to our colonizers, which is an imperialist, capitalist mind state, and radical blacks do not believe that that is any way for us to have liberation. Well, here's
So
what
when
you
you-
all keep
no,
doing.
no, no,
You
no, just
keep
give me-
interrupting me when
Well-
I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the
But
point
the
that I'm
point
going to
you're-
make.
the point that
and
you're
yet you want
raising-
me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. If I
Well,
show
damn.
you respect,
Okay, so I'm gonna it's just from my personal perspective, right? I don't off the rip. This does not look like a good look. I'm just saying. I mean, they could have been being annoying, like, right? Like, I know I've seen some clips from this and stuff, so like, I'm not gonna say nothing they could have said could have been annoying or from what I know. I don't know, like during the interaction, maybe they're over talking her or whatever, but like, I think if I'm not mistaken, that may have been the most animated I saw somebody get in one of these Jubilee videos, like one of these debate ones, or at least one of the ones I've covered. Like she was like, I'm not gonna be the one to say black women are loud, but you know, she was straight up yelling like, "God damn!" I didn't realize how loud it was until it was like right in my ear because like I haven't watched this yet.
give me the respect back. Ooh, I knew I was going to be.
Like that's more than just like, you know, getting a little combative or whatever. Like just, I guess because it's usually men. Because who's the other person? Candace Owens. Yeah, Candace Owens ain't gonna. Candace Owens isn't gonna get loud. We know she can probably get loud, man. She's a black woman, right? But I don't think I've seen Candace get that loud yet. I mean, I think I've seen her get loud on like other shows or whatever, but not like in a really confrontational way in front of anybody. Haven't seen that from Candace. So like, you know, I mean, the liberals gonna give it to you though. Like I feel like a lot of them have a lot less problem like just getting loose with it, so to speak. Pause. And I'm speaking. I'm not speaking about like even black women. I'm talking about specifically like liberals or left wing people. They're a lot more comfortable with expressing like their emotion. Women are like that in general, but like I've seen like, a lot of liberal men are like this too. A lot of left wing men seem to be like this too.
Be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go. Greetings. I am Amanda Seals, widely known as.
And this is the other thing. Okay, so I didn't know who the fuck she was. So let's see who she says she is, and maybe I'll remember, or I might have to look it up.
As a comedian, an actress, a disruptor, an annoying person on the internet who always tells the truth, and I am now an artistic and.
Okay, so like, let me look her up because the way she described herself, I mean, she's probably right. I just don't. I haven't seen her in anything. I think somebody said she was like a Nick Child star or something. And I've only heard her in reference to like, I think like political shit in the recent years. Before that, I don't think I ever really heard of this lady. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This is the most I've ever heard of her since the last time she made people mad in the media, probably, like, because I think can't remember. I've heard somebody mention her before, but it's in relation to like one of these like new like culture war issues. So Amanda Ingrid Hills was born in Inglewood, California. Let's see, what was she on? Film and television, Cop and a Half. She's featured on a Nickelodeon sitcom, My Brother and Me. Oh, okay, so that's what they're talking about. And she's been doing like comedy or whatever. She was in Insecure. Okay, that Tells you a lot. Uh, okay, so she's an actor. She's the daytime host for the show The Real. Okay. Um, I'm sorry, I don't know who the fuck she is. Like, I mean, if she's a well-known person in the black community, I'm sorry y'all for not knowing, but like, I don't know this bitch from like nobody. She looked kind of familiar. I probably saw her speaking somewhere before, but other than that, like, I don't know who the fuck she is, bro.
Intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. And today, I am surrounded.
An intellectual who commits myself to making art that educates. I mean, look, you see the Ripper verse hat? But like, I'm all for people who create art, and if you want to make art to educate, even better. But I mean, when I hear that from somebody I know is like, from what I know to be left wing, like it just like, I mean, it sounds like it's just bad art, with like forced messages. But hey, some people like that shit. I like my shit to be packaged a little differently. Like I like it when it's not like blatant, you know. But if it is blatant, I prefer it to be in like more of a comedic sense. Like, don't take yourself too seriously. That's all. That's for all you fledgling artists out there. I happen to be one of them. So I would probably describe myself like that at some point if I actually got to the point where I was able to like, do this stuff and have a career doing it. Like, sure, I'd say, yeah, I create art that educates people. Like, yeah, it sounds great on the surface. It's really just like propaganda.
Surrounded by 20 black conservatives. My first claim is
Coonservatives.
it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
So just like what I typically do here is I'll let you know. The claim, I usually what I'll do is I'll let you know if I agree with the claim personally before we even get into like examining an argument. So like this claim itself, or whether it's a good claim to make, um, I think she should have just stopped at just here. Um, that's the easiest thing to defend. But necessary is like that puts the burden all the way on her. And then we have to examine whether her argument necessitates it or even argues that it's just, right? Because in order to actually make a good argument here, you have to actually give somebody evidence and reasons why this meets the standard of just doing reparations, which is easy to do, right? Like I said, that's the easiest one to defend. But necessary, it's like, I guess you could argue that if something is just, it's necessary. Um, but you'd have to actually, put together an argument for it. Like it technically, you don't get it, you can't get an ought from an is. So just because something is just doesn't mean it ought to be done or that it's necessary for it to be done. Um, yeah, I guess morally speaking, you could say maybe depending on your moral framework, like it should be done if it's something that's just, but it's just not how the world works, unfortunately. So I'm wondering what the other people are gonna say. Apparently, this is ABL going on here first, so like, and remember, mind you, I don't know these people. I don't have no biases, so I'm not even taking any sides here. I'm just, can you defend the claim you are making?
All right, reparations, fair, necessary. My question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long?
Why do I feel like I'm watching an episode of South Park when I listen to him talk? Like I don't know if it's like an accent or I just, I hate to make fun of somebody with like a speech impediment or some shit. It just feels a little off. I'm about to speed. It's definitely slow too, so I'm about to speed this up. See how jittery
How long are
it
we
gets.
going to
So
stay here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865?
And also, sorry. So okay, there's a fact check for when they ratified the 13th Amendment. Um, I'm not necessarily sure why. Like, I don't think he made much of an argument towards that. Like, all right, so let's go back a second here. But
By 20 black
I don't like the way he started out. My question would be, like,
conservatives. My first claim is it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
it's like if you're gonna argue against their claim, you should be like, okay, I could argue that reparations in and of themselves, like the idea of reparations in and of itself, is just. But I don't think whatever reparations you're talking about are necessary. Like, if this is what he's trying to argue, but like, he's like, my question would be. That's why it feels like. To be clear, that's why I said it feels like I'm watching the episode of South Park, because it just sounds like such a silly way to respond to like the claim.
All right, reparations, fair, necessary? My question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many?
Who's gonna get it? Why would they get it? I mean, let's just say we're like, we're just explaining the concept of reparations to somebody, right? Well, typically, if you're getting reparations, you're a victim of some sort, right? Or you've been done wrong. Somebody owes you something, some repentance or whatever. Just to use a word besides reparations, right? So if somebody owes you back pay, whatever, something that they promised you, something that they owe you from a contract, whatever the fuck it is, that's typically gonna be like something that people would refer to as like reparations in terms of like slavery or whatever. But even if we're not talking about that kind of thing, if somebody does somebody wrong and they never pay for it, right? Normally in the justice system, this would be some kind of punishment or whatever, right? And then the punishment would probably come along with like, paying a certain amount in damages or something or whatever, right? But not everybody gets that, especially when things are done wrong to entire groups of people. So when you say like, who's gonna get it? Well, I mean, at the baseline, you can assume she's talking about like, descendants of former slaves, because obviously the slaves themselves are dead. And why would they get it? I mean, it's built into like the word itself. Like reparations is like the victims or whatever other like damaged parties, because this is kind of a legal thing anyway. Whatever damaged parties are owed are gonna get, their penance. They're gonna get what's due to them. You're gonna pay for repairs, reparations, or reconcilement, whatever the fuck. Whatever other word you could use for it. I can't think of another. There's another word that kind of means the same thing. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but just so when he asked that question, it's like you're kind of playing stupid. Like you're trying to lead into an argument that nobody that you're assuming she's probably gonna make, right? Because you already know. Like obviously she means descendants of slaves, former slaves, whatever. So I hate the way he started it off with that argument. I just think it's a horrible argument. We haven't even gotten to an actual argument yet.
Many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft
Why are we talking about Asian hate?
the bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education.
I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him. But what does this actually have to do with the claim though?
Of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you want to help black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised because, let's be clear, everybody in here is black.
Why do we sound like he's nervous? Like, you know how you can hear when somebody's voice is shaking? Oh, do you? Whoa. Like I can hear it. I can hear it in his voice. I don't know if is this how he normally sound. Apparently, people are familiar with him. Is this how he normally sounds? It sounds like he's nervous. Like his voice is like quivering slowly, like slightly. I can't really like imitate it. I try to imitate it, but like, I gotta be in like a certain move. Like, I gotta be nervous or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we all American, we got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal, and it shows that in many ways.
So, I mean, the burden of proof is on her at the end of the day, right? She has to support her claim. She said it's undeniable that reparations are just and necessary, right? He didn't even really argue against that, though. He just said, like, all these things aren't necessarily going to help us. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he really. let's see how he finished his argument, because I'm sorry, like, he didn't really. He mentioned a bunch of other things, but he didn't really address the claim itself.
And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that help.
Again, I wanted this to be quick, because this is gonna we probably not gonna get through that much of this today, but I'll finish it up eventually.
Us in the real world. So if you want to help black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised because, let's be clear, everybody in here is black. We all American, we got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal, and it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons. So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks.
So I'm trying to see, like, if she's really addressing what he's saying, and if he's even addressing her claim.
It's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's
First, I'll start with it will help
in the real world. So if you want to help black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised because, let's be clear, everybody in here is black. We all American, we got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well,
so this is what I'm saying. Like, because I'm listening and I'm just like, wait a minute. At some point, so he started his argument saying, like, all right, my question is, and then now we get to, like, well, I don't really think this is gonna help at all. Well, her claim is that it's just and necessary. So I could see this as, like, questioning the necessary part, but this is why I said, like, he could have just came out and said that. Like, he said all of that just to basically question, okay, so is it really necessary, or how would it help? Because if I'm being as good faith as possible, right, I'm gonna assume when he says, like, how is this gonna help, he's questioning the necessity of it. Like, is it really that necessary if it's not actually going to have any positive effects, if it's not actually going to help anything, right? Is it really necessary? How can we argue that it's necessary if there aren't any positive effects from it? Which I can understand this argument. This is the kind of argument I would probably make. the problem is like he spent way too much saying that. So it's like it's gonna be easy for her to not even really like she didn't even really have to have a good argument to like defend it because he kind of just said, "Well, I don't think it's gonna help much." It's like, well, whether you think it's gonna help much or not really is irrelevant to the fact of that whether it's just or not, um, or whether it's necessary. Like I'm just being good faith, assuming that like I know what you're talking about, but like I don't think it's the best way to try to like start out this argument. And then so she goes into what reparations are for. Like she basically starts explaining, which is exactly what I said, because he's basically playing dumb when he first said it. He's like, who's gonna get them and who are they for? Like you know this. Like, why do y'all even start with this part of the argument? Like, you know who they're talking about. You know who's supposedly supposed to get them. Like, because then you want to go into like, well, how are we gonna be able to tell? It's like, bro, like, come on, bro.
Well, first I'll start with it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal, and it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons.
I don't like this argument at all. I guess this is what she's using to justify like why it's necessary in order to like change this or whatever. I guess I think like I don't really agree with her that this is like a thing that is like happening, but yeah, whatever. Let her cook.
So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks.
So yeah, that's what I was saying, right? The fact check here says Congress and the Reagan administration paid 20,000 to Japanese Americans who are forced into internment camps. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners.
The German government has paid Holocaust survivors more than $90 billion over the last 80 years. It's like, if anybody knows how to get their money, you know what I'm saying?
Who received reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going
to Lincoln signed a law in 1862 that provided slave owners in D.C. up to $300 for every slave they free.
Come up a
Yo,
lot
the
today.
slave owners got reparations. The slave owners got reparations. They said, "Fuck the slaves." They said, "Fuck them niggas." Oh, you want? Oh, those acres. We're all out of land. Oh, I don't even think mules reproduce. Do you really want a mule?
It's a matter of value.
No, who negotiated that contract anyway? Like, was it actually like, what was it, 40 acres? What was it? Was it 40 acres and a mule, right? Something like that, right? Was it actually a mule? Like, what? What did they mean by mule? I feel like they meant something else by mule. Because who the fuck wants a mule? Whatever.
Values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think that as a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community. So I don't think there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede black people. So the reparations you're talking about are not just related to slavery. There's reparations that have been discussed all over this nation in different communities as it relates to
that is true. The reparations conversation, she is correct, is not just about slavery. I've been telling people that shit all the time. I don't know why black conservatives always go back to slavery when they hear people make reparations arguments. It's just like, bro, there was plenty of shit that happened after slavery that niggas deserve some reparations for. I'd argue.
to particular massacres, as it relates to redlining.
Yeah, massacres, lynchings. It's like, well, whatever. It's a bunch of shit going on. After like they didn't just like, oh, we accept you niggas now. We fought a war. We accept you niggas now. That's not what happened, sir.
And the impediment of black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations that are considered a cash payment from a government. There's also the version.
Yeah, she basically just explaining to this nigga what reparations are. Like, in case you didn't understand, sir, like this is who would be getting the reparations.
of reparations that shows up in how funds are allocated to specific groups.
We're not even like talking about like whether or not her claim is correct or justified, or whether like the argument can justify it or not. Like she's literally just, I'm just like, I might have to skip through. Like we might not get through very much of this today. Like I wanna make sure I don't miss Hotep's been told you, but you know, we'll see how long we can keep this going for.
Groups of people. So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen could very well happen.
Okay, now as far as the money going towards certain things is going to help us, let's look at Baltimore Public Schools. They get, I think, the third most money per pupil in the US of A, like $15,000 per student, but yet the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read. They're illiterate. So we're
You see, like he just sounds so much more coherent, like when he sped up. Like I don't know, he just talks so slow.
dumping money on the situation, yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money.
Or maybe I just listen to shit too sped up. But yeah, I don't think I don't think she's like really supported the claim at all yet. She basically just explained to this nigga what reparations were, and then he's still just kind of arguing the same thing, like, oh, I don't think it would help. Like I don't see any of these other things working, so like reparations wouldn't work, I guess.
Money's not going to help the thing. We need to just focus on what we need to focus on. As far as black people being labor force of this country, what else are we doing? We got 25% of us on some kind of government assistance. 1 out of every 3 black men will go to jail. We got to do something. We got to work with our hands, work with tools, do something, because we're not doing much of anything. And also, one more piece here.
Wait, we're not doing much of anything. He named like 25% of the population and another 12% of the population. Like none of the particular people he was just talking about were like a majority of the population or anything, was he? Like I don't think. So like, what do you mean? Like, what does he mean? Like, I mean, that is I'm not gonna say that's not a large amount of our population. Like, I mean, like a quarter of our population is still pretty big, but like, yeah, I just.
Reparations, again, always in front of us, never going to happen. As long as you've been living, as long as I've been living, as long as everybody been living, they say we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece and you added another one.
I promise.
So hold on.
Yeah, he keep adding piece after piece after piece. Like she got like what, a 5-piece meal here at this point.
Hold on to it.
I'm gonna land the plane. I'm gonna land the plane. I promise. Reparations is a thing. Like I said, it's a carrot to dangle in front of us. They're never really going to get it done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not even addressing the argument. He's just like, oh, well, they just use this, and it's never gonna be done. Yeah, but like, is it just and is it necessary? Like, I guess you could argue, like, I guess you could say, like, if he's saying that it'll never actually be done, then at the end of the day, it's not necessary because we can live without it. And I mean, that is what the definition of necessary is. Like, if you can live without it, you don't need it, do you?
Stay Democrat. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, Democrats are not doing reparations either. This is nonpartisan. This is black partisan, baby. Okay.
Well,
this is nonpartisan.
Who do we vote for? Who do we vote for 90% of the time? There's no incentive.
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat.
Who do we like? And this collective we, like, who do we vote for? Most of us don't vote. We don't vote, nigga. What do you mean? You start, like, if you're doing a collective we for black people, it's like most black people don't vote. So he's doing this like, who do we collectively vote? I hate that shit, bro. Like, stop it.
You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but let's land
this plane very quickly.
Who do we vote for?
Who do we vote? Nigga, what do you mean we? Like, you putting yourself in the you vote for Republicans, nigga. You're a conservative. Like, what? What is he saying right now?
Land this plane quickly. You're talking to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay, you are your own person.
Let me tell you something now. I don't know what they told you.
You are your own person, nigga. You are your own person too. If anything, like, you're the only collective. Like, you guys vote for literally the collective you're in right now. You niggas vote for Republicans. I'm assuming you a black conservative voting for Democrats. Like, you're not. I hate when people say like. They put themselves in the group of people that they're talking about, even though they're still othering the group of people. Like, it's this weird shit. Like, you say like, oh, well, we, the collective we, like, no, nigga, I'm not bunching myself in with those people at any point, nigga. I'm not gonna let you do it to me either. I was talking to this nigga. He was trying to do that shit. in the middle of a conversation, he kept saying we. I'm like, who is this we, nigga? You and somebody else or whatever. He was like, well, I'm actually not in the group. I'm like, oh, so why the fuck are you saying we then, nigga? Why are you associating yourself with the people that you're shit talking? Like, oh my God, it's just y'all gotta think, y'all. Okay, y'all gotta think. You can't be doing shit like this. If you're not in that group, don't be saying we. Like if you talking about black people, like at least know what you're talking about for the majority of black, because you know that's not true. That's according to them government numbers. To them Democrats. They vote for Democrats, sure. The Democrats are voting for Democrats. But if the majority of black people, especially black men, are not voting, like, do we really know who the people are voting for? We know that they're not voting. So you should probably include things like that. But saying like who do we, like that just really rubs me the wrong fucking way. I'm sorry.
But if they told you that cutting me off is how we're going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh, no,
that's,
no, no,
that's
no.
not how we're
We
going to. That's not how we're going to
We having a debate.
A debate does not require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Now, I do
She said she's checking this nigga. It's crazy.
want to state this. You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem without acknowledging the fact that the problem doesn't exist in a vacuum and that there are so many other factors that are determining how that money is getting spent to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can put all the money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities that are not getting resources, then you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're saying
I don't disagree with what she said there. She's correct. You can throw as much money as you want at the problem. But essentially you can also throw more money at the problem from another end. Like, just keep causing the problem. Or coming up with other ways to like, make it fail and the other. Now, I mean, like whether or not somebody's actually doing that or not, to go through the trouble of doing that or not is a whole other thing. But I still don't think this really because she's responding to him at this point, but yeah, none of this really has anything to do with whether reparations are just and necessary. This is more to do with like whether it would actually be beneficial, which I guess falls under the necessary category. But like he never like officially challenged either of her points. He just kind of like said like, oh, well, I don't see this really ever happening or working. So it's just like, I mean, but you didn't address like whether it was just or necessary, really. Like you just was like, my question is
they, the they is a broad context. And the last part of this that I will say is that you keep saying they're dangling this in our face. They're dangling in our face. Slavery lasted for 400 years. It hasn't even been 400 years since slavery.
400 years.
So should we be only fighting for a quarter of the time to get repair?
All right, I'm so sorry.
I don't think that's a good argument. I believe she thought she was cooking. And I mean, there's something to be said about that, right? This is actually like we were saying with Shank. You can have good rhetoric and a bad argument. Like you can have no argument at all and just have, just purely, good sounding rhetoric. Like your rhetoric can just be nice. You can just have you can have some colorful ways of painting things that just make you more convincing. When you just have like that little bit of charisma, you know what I mean? It does wonders. So you can just have like good rhetoric sometimes, and a little bit of charisma goes a long way. But as far as her arguments, like this is kind of his fault too, because he's not really pushing on her on any of the arguments, so she can just kind of get her rhetoric off.
Sorry,
Okay.
you've been voted out by the majority.
All right.
Please return to your seat.
And I'm kind of glad he got voted off too. Like, can we get somebody that's actually going to address the claim?
Okay.
My name's Matt Nuclear.
Hello,
I
Matt.
appreciate-
Matt
sure.
Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake on that. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
I
All right.
appreciate having this conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This
I don't know who the fuck Matt Nuclear is either. But, shout out to my nigga, hope he's eating. Hope he's eating good.
is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence.
So he went right out the gate At least he did this, right? He went right out the gate and said, I just don't agree that they're necessary, right? So he didn't even argue. He's like, yeah, reparations are probably just, there's no reason to argue with that, right? The entire idea is of them being some kind of justice. But then he's like, I just don't agree that it should be necessary. And now let's hear his arguments as to why.
I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000 job, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violence.
So I think what he was saying was like, black on black violence is the biggest problem we need to solve, and I don't think reparations is going to help that or anything. So like, it's not the best argument. It's not. I mean, I get where he's coming from, but like, that's not really an argument as to whether or not reparations are necessary. Because she could easily just make the argument that we could, fund programs to stop black on black violence with these reparations, or depending on what the reparations are, they might be able to be used as assets in order to, have a program. Like say you give somebody some land and they're able to build like some buildings where they can actually take these kids to engage in some kind of workshop program or whatever, and there's less violence going on because they're doing something like that. Like, just hypothetically, right? If your reparations included some kind of land, that's some way that you could use it to affect this goal. So it's not really like a good argument to say, because I don't see it helping these things, which is kind of also an appeal to ignorance to a certain degree. Like, because unless you're asserting that it definitely wouldn't help these things, you're kind of saying that you don't think it would, and just because you don't think it would doesn't mean that it wouldn't. But I guess you could use this as an argument against like the necessity of a thing, if its benefits aren't like immediately identifiable. Is that how you would say it? But you could also argue like uh things that you need, it's not necessarily obvious that you need them, like especially if you're talking about like vitamins and other things that your body needs to survive. It's like, make sure you might know that you need to eat and drink water. And I mean, if you're a baby coming out the womb, you might not even know that you need to drink water. Your body might just like go try to drink something to get some kind of water from it. But like, it's not immediately obvious that water is something that you're gonna fucking need to survive. At least not from like a basic human understanding perspective. Like, we teach each other things, obviously, so we pick up these things. But like, it's not everything that's necessary or is just gonna be like obviously beneficial necessarily, or something that's gonna be like easy to look at and be like, oh yeah, well, we can get this out of it. Not everything. Maybe most of the things you need, but not everything.
Violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check is not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% to 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently?
Banning Chinese laborers from entering the U.S. at the time in 1882. Chinese workers came to America to send money back to their families, and they were willing to work for lower wages than Americans. Yeah. What about that? Did they not get reparations?
Consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black women like yourself, this is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000 job, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently. A $50,000 check is not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% to 20%. For example, we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Well, for one, Chinese people already have a home country. I'm just saying, like, it's like, I think just one thing a Negro should know is that, like, a lot of our problems come from like, we don't have like a country called like nigga land or anything. Like, it's not like shout out to Osepistan, but we don't have like like even in Africa, there's a bunch of different countries. Like where does your lineage come from? Do you even know? Do you? But it's like so that's one of the problems there, right? Those people were immigrants. I'm pretty sure too. Like they came here to work, and there was just like some policy passed against them. They weren't like literally second class citizens because they were brought over here as slaves. Like there's a bit of a difference there. Just so we're clear, I would if there was any like comparable like a whole war had to be fought to free these niggas. Like if there was anything like comparable that he had tried to use, then I wouldn't let this rock. But like I don't know what the fuck he's talking about right now. Like why are we comparing ourselves to why are we comparing niggas to the Chinese? They didn't go through half the shit that niggas went through in this country. Like they had one thing happen. Oh wow, they're not calling themselves victims. I mean, I wouldn't be either. Like that shit has probably happened to every group in some country at some point. You know anything about history and politics? Like, this kind of shit happens all the time. It's not new, bro.
Oh, young Matt.
Yeah, white people are the oppressors.
Like yeah, she's tired as well. Like like she's already tired just from hearing this nigga talk. Like wow, this nigga, huh?
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
She said. This is the perfect response to what this nigga just said. Though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, cause he not even. I'm not gonna say. Maybe it's not the perfect response, but it's one of the best responses you can have to what this nigga just said. Cause if you know anything, like like what he just said just didn't even make sense. But like I broke it down, but I'm curious to see what she's gonna say. It's just funny the way she started out. She's like, I don't know where you got your education from, young man. But they lied to you. like damn, is she about to cook?
Stats don't lie though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the
Statistics don't lie. Statistics. I got a book that would beg to differ. Maybe statistics don't lie, but you can lie with statistics.
sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're gonna start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie. They lie.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I'm gonna let her cook because she's technically right. She's technically got it. Like, it is how you present the statistic. You can lie with statistic, but the statistics themselves, if you've done the math correctly, the statistics don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Niggas, men lie, women lie. Numbers don't. But men can use numbers to lie. Yes, and it's often more convincing when they do. I know I look like a fucking blue Smurf right now, but I don't like it. This white balance is just all off right now. Like, I don't know what's going on. I think I got a lot of blue light out in front of me, so it'd be like that. Which honestly, like, I had my shades on because I was tired of this shit. I'm gonna put these back on.
All the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of Black people to
Okay, she did. Okay, I wanted to make sure, like, that's crazy to compare us to the Chinese. No, she's right. That's his, but that don't even have nothing to do with his education. That's why I said that her response wasn't necessarily perfect, because that don't necessarily have anything to do with his education. It has more to do with like his critical thinking skills. Because it's like, do you think comparing the small thing that happened to the Chinese and happens to a lot of other groups in different times in history, just for random reasons, like just because they're from a foreign nation, is comparable to American slavery? Like, what?
to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. What? No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you?
And even beyond American slavery, like, Jim Crow, all the good stuff, all the greatest racist hits,
I'm telling the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America.
She said, there's no systemic racism. I haven't experienced any racism, therefore it does not exist. It's not looking good for bro. That's another argument to ignorance. Like he's just like, oh well, I haven't experienced it. I mean, her response to it was kind of funny because it is like it's some stuff. Even like just growing up as a black person, right? It's some stuff that sometimes you might not want to call racism, but it's like once you've met racist white people and you know how they work and how they think and the kind of shit they try to get off, especially when people don't know what they thinking because they know people don't know what they're thinking. You can actually like sometimes you can just fucking tell. You can tell when some shit is racism. Like it might not like sometimes people would just call some shit racism. It's like, we even joke about it sometimes. Like we would call some shit racist when it's not racist, right? Because it's funny, but no, like there's like some racist shit going on here all over the place. And it used to be like, and this is the thing, even if you're not living in a time where the system is quote unquote designed against you, it was at one point. For many of your ancestors, for your grandparents, maybe even your parents have experienced it because my parents are old. My parents experienced real racism. I did too when I was growing up. So even if it's not like explicitly in the system anymore, bro, what? You don't think like, bro, it was literally in law that you were not a full person. Like legally, you weren't a full person. How was that not systematic racism? Like, I don't think it was like, so you think it just poof and disappeared someday, nigga?
America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently.
Because I just had a debate about this recently, like, or a debate where this like came up recently. Like they were arguing about crime stats, and then they got to arguing about like systematic racism, and just all the like if you're arguing that systematic racism didn't exist, like even the guy that was debating against the point had to concede that like yeah, like there was obvious, and this is like a white guy, right? Like there was obvious systematic racism in the past. Obviously, it was literally written into the system.
Systemic racism that we've seen is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example.
All right, so this is one of them conservative talking points. He just wanted it. Like I'm not like just a conservative coon. Like this is crazy. Like I wanted to name this one coon versus 20 Coonservatives. I just didn't know if Coon Munist had like the ring to it that Coonservative did. Cause I don't even know if she's like a communist or anything anyway. But as far as I'm concerned, she's a coon too. Like I don't think she's necessarily Hotep or anything. No. I think she's just a left-wing coon.
Has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel
Can't have nothing for ourselves, bro. Gotta be racism.
safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth.
So the only systematic racism today is against white people. It's like that's what they wanted you to think.
You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor?
This nigga brought up King Von.
When black men are more likely to kill me.
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not
She's right. This is scary. If this is like the typical black conservative, this is not looking good.
talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, you would never find me or you never catch me dead bringing up King Von in any conservative argument or anything, even if I'm arguing about the black community. Cause I ain't gonna lie to you, I barely know who that nigga is. I heard a couple of his songs from my niggas, and some of them not even white, some of them not even black, like, and not even white. Like I heard Latinos was bumping and Asians, Latinos and Asians was bumping King Von. That's a lot of the people I've heard listen to him. I don't think I've even seen anybody really from like the current generation. Might have heard a random song here or there, but I don't think I've seen anybody from the current generation like, really bumping King Von like that. So I don't really know who the nigga is. I know who he is because one of my Hispanic niggas was bumping him. and really fucked with the energy of the music. But he liked the energy of fucking what's that nigga's name? Tekashi 6ix9's music too. Right? Like he liked that aggressive sound and shit or whatever. He liked metal too. So it's just kind of a feel, right? As far as the music goes. But I just feel like bringing up King Von, it's just weird. Like we bring up, like, what is that supposed? Is that supposed to signify something specifically about the black community?
Okay. So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism. And we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the
Do not cut me off.
fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities, are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so.
So this nigga, it was all Democrat ops, guys. None of this shit ever happened, bro. This is what the modern day conservatives will have you believe, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So it does exist, and stating that it doesn't exist.
Like this is your political diet like on Daily Wire. If your political diet is like Daily Wire, this is probably what you think.
Exist doesn't make
Daily Wire, PragerU. You know, like, I watched some of their shit before, but this is part of the reason I watch it because it's like I can tell you almost probably verbatim or exactly to the name, like the niggas that this motherfucker watches. Almost. I think I could.
Make it no longer exist. Redlining
Redlining is the practice of denying mortgages to those who live in neighborhoods considered to be risky. Lenders target blah blah blah. I mean, if you know what redlining is, I don't think we need to. Do we need to go over what redlining is? Like the reason the term exists is it was because it was found that they were doing this stuff. Like I mean, like I guess you could question how rampant it was, but from what I recall, that there were people openly admitting to it. It wasn't even really like a secret, I think.
absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact, and there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affected.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get him the fuck out of here because they're like, he said he don't believe in redlining. Like even some of the black conservatives that know they shit, they like, who taught this kid?
The school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons,
while there is a direct correlation between literacy and education levels and incarceration rates, the claim that prison planners use that data to decide where to build has been debunked. I'm not gonna check into that. Not on stream at least. I've heard this before. I don't really know where you go, like, because it's supposedly been debunked, and I'm assuming like the reason they say it's been debunked is because they probably can't find any evidence, even though we know that's not necessarily a reason to not believe something. They probably can't find any evidence that it is the case. So it would really just be that they can't support the claim. They haven't found corroborating evidence, I guess. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's untrue, but I doubt that I would find it. Like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole right now because I doubt that I would find any evidence that this is actually what happens. So, and again, this is not actually even, I don't think this really addresses her point at all, like her argument. So, I'm not going to get too much into it. Just wanted to highlight what that fact check said. Technically, it's saying that she's wrong.
with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So,
but she is starting from the premise that like they want to get them into prisons. Which, I mean, like, hey, if you're using her perspective, where they just want to use black labor and continue to use black labor, they're gonna figure out a way to get you into that fucking prison, and then they don't get that free labor off you. Like, since that's what that's what she believes. I don't know if she can actually provide you like much evidence that this is actually what these people are trying to do, but I can't say I'm not somewhat sympathetic to the argument. Like, I get what she's saying. Like, it does seem like that sometimes.
So
Ben
how does
Carson-
King Von
Ben
happen?
Carson-
How
Ben
does
Carson-
King Von happen?
King Von hap- oh,
Reparation.
hold on,
Actually,
let me
no, let me
finish.
land the plane.
Yeah.
We're talking about reparations, and
How does King Von happen? See how she got him on talking about this nigga?
what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the fact. And
Ben
the fact is,
Carson's-
reparations are just and necessary because
Yeah, thank you for bringing it back to the point. It's like something that people rarely do in this fucking setting. Like they, I don't know what it is because these people actually have like more to disagree about. The last couple ones I watched, like the person that was making the claim, uh, tended to have like like a pretty coherent like point to argue, like a point that's kind of hard to argue against because it's just kind of like a fact or like a statement. Um, this one is like this is similar, but like there's political ideology attached to it, so like people are gonna kind of try to wiggle out of like the little nuances of whatever you're particularly saying, which is like kind of the same thing with the other ones, but like on a lot of the other ones, like the people that were coming up to debate with these people like Mehdi Hassan and Cenk, they would actually just agree to like kind of the claim in general, whatever, and then kind of get onto another side topic or something where they actually kind of disagreed in the weeds or something. But this one is like they're not even really addressing the argument. It's like it's kind of similar to the Jordan Peterson one too. Like it happens. Like sometimes a person just comes up and doesn't address the argument at all. But the last couple ones, people have been like kind of just conceding and like saying, yeah, I mean, we don't even really have much to disagree about here. But I disagree with like maybe some of the solutions you might have or some shit or whatever. And then they just get into a whole nother conversation. This one is just like she literally had to restate the claim itself because like none of these niggas are actually even, they're not even just giving her it when they come up to say like, okay, I agree with you that they're just. Like, I think he tried to do that, and then when he got into the necessary thing, it just turned into like it's like this like side tangent, and he basically made the same argument that ABL made.
on a basic level, black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand.
So like if we're taking that just as an argument in itself, black people work for this country. We built this country basically on our backs on free labor. And obviously it's not the black people that are alive today, but our ancestors helped build this country and didn't get paid for the majority of the work that they did. And she says that this is one of the reasons that reparations are just and necessary. And one of the arguments she made earlier was like about like this moral necessity or whatever. Like that's not really like logical when you get into like the moral necessity and all that or whatever. It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could argue from the supposed morals that the country has, right? It would be morally just and necessary for the country to actually, make good on the promise. But I mean, just sure, but you still like it's only necessary for a particular thing. Like if it's not necessary for their plans, technically, like if it might be necessary for you thinking that their goal is something that it isn't. But if they know what their goal is and they know that they don't need to give us reparations in order to keep everything moving properly, then like your argument is untrue. If you're assuming whatever goal they're trying to have, social cohesion, whatever, if you're assuming that, their goal is the opposite of that, then you might be assuming the necessity of it. But nobody's made any arguments like this. Like everybody's just kind of like, oh, well, I don't think it would really do anything good. We have other problems to worry about. It's like, that's not an argument for what she's talking about. She got to keep restating the argument.
And the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one
No,
point that I wanted to
answer
say?
the question.
Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
Remunerations. Let's I don't think she ever asked. I don't think she ever did. She ever explain the definition? I don't know. Remuneration refers to the total compensation received by an employee for their works or services, which includes base salary, bonuses, commission pay. Yeah. Okay, so money niggas owe you. Just because she kept saying remunerations, and I know that some people may not know. Because I can't remember whether she went over it, and I just wanted to do that real quick.
Out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do. I really. We in LA.
Somebody did say they was all actors. I mean, she's an actor.
We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting. Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you got.
Shout out to our greatest allies. A coin from Israel.
Gotta go.
Why she laugh like that? She got against our greatest allies.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I'm 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Although I doubt she's keeping stress out of her life. These thugs.
Liberal positions are real stress.
These are upstanding conservatives and liberal radicals. I don't know what the hell she is.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's a liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work.
They just by default call everybody that's not conservative liberal.
We believe in going to work and working
There's too much conservative propaganda.
for what you got,
Yep.
not asking for handouts
Right.
from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves.
So would this be him arguing that it's unjust?
So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my
So he's saying, how is that fair? So he's attacking the claim from the just position.
family fall on the side of the Union, why
From the position that it isn't just, sorry.
should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery, and
His whole country was never all racist? Carry on.
actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believe that there'll be a future where there would be a black president one day,
He been eating up them conservative talking points, boy.
or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One,
Why should they have to pay for slaves if they never had slaves?
from my understanding,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that.
you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That's
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That's a good response. That was actually a really good response. I like that response. From a logical standpoint, because it's like it's not one or the other, right? Like you could address like, okay, it might not be fair for some people. It's like, okay, so we can determine like who actually had slaves, or like if we need to do that, then we can do something like that. Like, but you seem to be more worried about the motherfuckers who didn't have slaves and the people who weren't like the perpetrators of the crime, rather than like the victims of the crime and whether or not it's just for them to get what they deserve. Like if you're mixed, it's like one of your parents might have to pay up. It depends what side of the family is it on.
that is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been.
I mean, it's so like if you mix, you might get a pass too. Like you raised a couple niggas, so we give you a pass.
The descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity, and we have equal opportunity in this country.
Her eyes, bro. Her reactions are killing me. I ain't gonna lie. Because her reactions are saying what I'm thinking.
We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president.
Said we got a black president, so everything's okay now.
And we had a black vice president.
Equal opportunity. We've already had a black president and a black vice president. Was she black?
I mean, I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know.
He right. So was she black? She was like Indian.
We had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man?
That nigga was mixed too. You never had I don't think we've ever had a fully black president. Like them niggas look, the nigga's black. Like I'm not gonna say he's mixed, but he's still black. But like we never had like a black president. Like so niggas always want to throw out Obama, and it's like, man, that nigga. I mean, I think his daddy was supposedly from Kenya or something. So he was almost as black as you could get, but he was mixed. Still, like, even as African as the nigga was, as black as the nigga was, he was still mixed. Still a mixed nigga. They couldn't even give you a full-blooded nigga.
White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So
yeah, he is the product. He's a mixed nigga. I'm sorry. I don't even know why we talk about Obama right now, but because it's just like that. Voting for a fucking black president or a mixed president is not fucking reparations, and does not address whether reparations are just and necessary.
Let's get off this thing where America is so racist. What's making America?
That's also I don't think that supports the idea that there's like equal opportunity now, just because you had like a nigga that was president.
So racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity.
So you said that people talking about racism you said the only reason we got racism is because people talk about it. Keep it alive. Morgan Freeman said something similar once. I like the way he said it better. Mindset. Well, he didn't really say it like that. They asked him like, what do you think we could do to like solve the problem and all this other stuff, whatever. And Morgan Freeman was like, stop talking about it. Very, very matter of factly. And it's like, I somewhat agree. But it's just like when you got certain niggas walking around saying certain shit, it's like, all right, we gotta correct you. Like, maybe we don't need to do it in public, but we gotta at least take these niggas behind closed doors and like give them some classes. Just get their education up, because they be wilding out here.
Are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality, because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people.
I don't think you have to surrender the victim mentality in order to get your reparations.
Fall for. They fought for.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby. Please.
This is the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally.
Technically, if you just want to see it, being a victim is like, being legal status in a case. I ain't got no problem being a victim. That usually means you owe me something. I mean, somebody gonna do something for me. So if I can use the system to get what I want, I'll be the victim. But only for as long as I need to be in a particular court case. You might find me in another case as the offender.
Saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
No.
Why? I hate these niggas.
You know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy.
I don't. We're not even talking about the claim anymore, but like, I don't. I mean, that's probably true. you know how these people like define white supremacy so broadly or whatever. So I mean, I'm like, sure, you know.
It's a lie.
No, sir,
It's
that's
a
simply
lie.
not
There's
true.
no such- I mean,
if
there's
that
some-
were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power
You
when
know
they
why
do
they're
not
in
have the
position of
power.
power? Because
Let me
they're
hear-
We'll just
culture.
slip
Black
past
culture
that.
is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture
Nah, black culture is toxic. Oh my God, bro.
that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers
So
in
white
the black
culture
home.
is-
Let's
Stop,
talk about that.
stop.
Let's talk
Stop,
about that.
stop.
Yeah,
Let's
bro.
talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit
I ain't gonna lie. Well,
here and make up shit.
We having
It's
a
not gonna
debate.
work. No,
she got. Hey yo, she kind of right though. Like
a debate has to be in fact.
they're not just making up shit though. They these are conservative talking points.
You're
You are
putting off
literally
emotional
not,
liberalism
I am
right
not
now.
putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they
It
get the
is
misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look at this
conservatives
man.
did. They said
You're carrying
misinformation.
a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and
What about the
non-Jewish
apartheid?
people.
What
But
about
let
when-
me bring it
what
back.
about when
Let
black
me bring
people
it
were
back.
selling black people
Let me
in
bring it.
Africa
That was not
and
happening
put
in the
them in
context
cages?
that.
This is so off the topic. And why is he? Oh my God. Why you yelling up? These niggas gotta present themselves better, bro.
You're saying.
And they were selling
Let's
their
bring
own
What are we doing, bro?
it
people.
back.
Black people still sell
Okay.
their own people today too. By
I don't
the
know
way.
if I'm gonna last.
We're selling our own people today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna last.
Like he all off topic and shit.
Probably won't last with me.
I won't because your ignorance is so
See, y'all,
overwhelming.
that's liberals. Y'all start name calling.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. I have to agree with her here. This nigga's ignorance is overwhelming. I don't even think he realizes how bad he looks right now.
No, it's not lane calling. You
Like to me, this looks crazy.
won't have an
He just completely lost the plot.
argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine. If they don't let me go
You
back
won't
on, I
even.
made my
You won't.
point.
You didn't make your
I made my
point.
Yeah, he was just trying to talk, like just straight up trying to talk over her. I can't even be mad at her.
point.
You haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started
See what happened when you get niggas together?
off saying we believe in hard work,
Yeah.
and we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work,
Yes.
and you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their
I'm about to wrap it up after this, so we're gonna have to finish up the rest of this tomorrow or something, because like I can't do this.
work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home playing a
giving
video?
Who was compensated for their work? See, I don't even think he realized what he was saying. Like this is why it's so hard to do like a logical analysis of some of these, because it's just like there's nothing to analyze here. Like he's not even making an argument. He's just throwing shit out the wall.
X?
These are basically all non sequiturs.
Are
But
you
no, the
sitting at
people
home
that
playing a video
the people
game?
that they wanted
Am I sitting
reparations
at home
for-
playing a video game? No.
The people
And
they
I don't
want
know what
reparations
I don't know
for-
who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the black community is not sitting at home playing video
majority
games.
of the black
Where are you
community is
getting
doing a
that
lot of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is
statistic?
not right.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was gonna be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, she does seem to be surrounded by a lot of ignorance, or at least feigned ignorance. Because I don't even think ABL was as dumb as he was like kind of seeming like at the beginning there. It's just like some of the ways these motherfuckers try to make their arguments is just fucking makes them sound dumb. But you know, I do want to get to the rest of this. I'm already late to this grift anyway, so it's like, you know, it's whatever. No, y'all want to join me for part 2? You can join me for part 2. We're gonna have the majority of this on part 2. Had to get this started though. You know, there were a couple of things that needed to be addressed. Got stopped, caught up on a couple, like, you know, fact checks, whatever. I'm gonna go catch Hotep's been told you. And I will finish this analysis up here next time. We'll go for tomorrow. Until then, peace out.